Now more than ever, people are sick and tired of the high cost of housing or the expensive cost of living in their current city or state. Many people are fleeing these states, seeking out states that are more affordable or easier to survive financially. In today's video, we will be covering the 10 most unaffordable states based on two categories, which are the cost of living and housing affordability. The cost of living is a measurement of the different price levels goods or services cost across each state. The higher the cost of living, the harder it is for people to afford basic necessities. Now, more than ever, people are struggling with inflation, prices rising, and wages being stagnant. Every person needs a roof over their head, and unfortunately, homelessness is on the rise. Many of the states on this list have their cities being overrun with homeless camps. I don't judge any of these people because this could happen to anyone. There are even people who are employed but are living in their car or on the streets. Housing affordability is usually the most expensive expense for most people and usually represents a third of someone's income, but many times it's even more than that. The category was measured by the Bureau of Economic Analysis, comparing the housing affordability across states compared to the national level for a given year. Enough of the pre-flight talk, let's get ready for liftoff. Number 10, Oregon. The Beaver State is very beautiful, but it's also very expensive. It's the 41st most affordable state with the 42nd ranking in the cost of living and 39th in housing affordability. Just for your information, when I give these rankings for the categories, first is the best and 50th is the worst in the country. However, this doesn't apply to the top 10 list. Number 10 is the 41st worst, and number 1 is the 50th worst. Now, when most people think of Oregon, they think of Portland, the home to homeless camps, unsafe and drug-riddled streets, and high retail theft. In fact, almost every week there is another story about a large company or franchise pulling their company or stores out of the state. If you watch the news, you might wonder why anyone would want to live there. But the truth is, this state is really beautiful, and there is a lot more to Oregon than Portland. It also has the 25th best economy, the 21st ranking in healthcare, 3rd in infrastructure, and 11th in natural environment. Now for the negative or below average categories. Crime and corrections and education, it's ranked 39th. And opportunities, it's ranked 30th. It's a little worse than average in fiscal stability at 27th, and tax burdens, it's 28th. Number 9, Connecticut. The Constitution state and the 10th best state to live in 2024, based on our earlier video, doesn't get that high ranking because of affordability. It gets there in spite of it. Connecticut is the 42nd most affordable state with the 40th ranked cost of living and 42nd in housing affordability. It's expensive, however, it does get a lot of great scores and rankings if you can afford it. It's 5th in healthcare, 8th in both crime and corrections and education. It's 17th in economy and 18th in natural environment. It could use some improvements in fiscal stability at 48th, tax burden it's 47th, and 44th in opportunities for its residents. Still, if you can afford it, it's a great place to live, which we can't say for all these unaffordable states. Number 8, Colorado. Now, the state of Colorado will always hold a special place in my heart. You see, my beautiful wife and I met over 2 decades ago on the internet. I know a lot of people meet on the internet nowadays, but it was a whole lot less common back then. At the time she messaged me, I had no idea where Kentucky was. I had only been to the state of Michigan and New York, both for hockey tournaments. I grew up in Toronto, so I really only knew these border states. I grew up poor, so I didn't get to go on vacation anywhere. Anyways, back to Colorado. My wife and I had been talking back and forth for a month via Messenger and emails. I went to Loveland, Colorado on a business trip and bought a long-distance phone card and called her for the first time. If you are as old as me, you remember those times when long-distance relationships were expensive. How fitting, the first time I spoke to my wife on the phone, I was in a place called Loveland, and we have been in love ever since. Needless to say, I have been to the Colorado Rockies, and the state will always hold a special place in my heart. Colorado is 43rd most affordable state with the 41st ranking in cost of living and 46th in housing affordability. It also is doing a lot of things right. The economy is 3rd, education is 4th, healthcare is 13th, infrastructure is 21st, and natural environment is 28th. It's also a little worse than average in tax burden at 27th. Now, it's not all love and long-distance phone calls in Colorado. Its crime and corrections are 45th, and its opportunity is 42nd. But this is the category that affordability is a part of. So besides that, Colorado is a great place to call home, if you can afford it. Maybe if enough people subscribe to my channel and watch my videos, I will take my wife to Loveland, Colorado and Estes Park for our 25th anniversary. We have been to about half the states. However, she's never been to Colorado, and it's on our bucket list. Number 7, Maryland. Now, I must admit, I don't have a good perception of Maryland. There was this one school district that I read about where the whole district scored very, and I mean very poor in math and reading. I can't remember if it was grade 6 or 8, but with over 500 students in this one district for one grade, not a single student was at math grade level or greater, and only 1 out of 550 plus kids were at grade level for reading. That's criminal. Now, for the record, the overall state is ranked 23rd in education. So maybe this one school district is probably in a poor city somewhere. I always feel bad for people in poverty as I've been there, lived that, and have come out, and now I feel blessed. Not sure why it's so unaffordable. If you live in this state, please let me know in the comments and change my mind about your state. I'm open to changing my views. Maryland is 44th most affordable state with the 44th ranking in cost of living and 43rd in housing affordability. Its economy is 42nd and infrastructure is 39th. Now, if you watch my last video and taxes, or should I say tax burden, is important to you, Maryland is 45th. So they are taking a lot of your hard-earned money. The opportunity and fiscal responsibility are both 28th. However, it does have some positives. Crime and corrections are 14th, which is great. Natural environment is 5th, and healthcare is 4th, which is awesome. Maybe I need to give a little bit more credit to Maryland, as healthcare and public safety are some of the most important categories to the majority of people. And the education is way better than average. Just make sure you're not in that district that news article was written about. Number 6, Massachusetts. Now here is another state that made the previous video on the top 10 places to live in 2024, where it was ranked 4th. In that video, we explained that it's expensive. It's the 45th most affordable state in the US. We get there with a whole lot of 45s. Not only is it the 45th most affordable state, it's also the 45th in both cost of living and housing affordability. It does have some positives for the high cost though. Crime and corrections is 4th, economy is 9th, education 3rd, healthcare is also 3rd, and natural environment, another 3rd. Now the problem with Massachusetts, besides their sports teams, is the things that they suck at, they really suck at. They are ranked 46th in tax burdens, 43rd in fiscal responsibilities, 42nd in infrastructure, and 40th in opportunities. Then again, any Celtics, Bruins, or Red Sox fan deserves high taxes. But us Raptors, Maple Leafs, and Blue Jay fans north of the border get robbed just as bad, or more. And our sports teams aren't nearly as successful. Number 5, Washington State. Now this state didn't make the top 10 best places to live in 2024 that we've been mentioning. However, it did get an honorable mention, being ranked 12th. Now I must admit, on some other lists, Washington has been ranked as high as second best state in America, but not on our list. Coming in as the 46th most affordable state with the 46th cost of living and the 44th housing affordability ranking. That's where a lot of the negatives end though. The worst ranking after that is Washington is ranked 35th in tax burdens and 31st for opportunities for its residents. Crime and corrections are 19th, which is manageable. To round out the great things about Washington State, the economy is 13th, education is 10th, healthcare is 11th, fiscal responsibility is 4th, so is natural environment, and infrastructure is 6th. Plus, they just got an NHL team not too long ago, and they will probably get the next NBA expansion team. Things are looking up in Washington State. Number 4, New York. I remember growing up thinking about how great it would be to not only live in New York City, but make it in New York. Now there is a lot more to New York, the state, than the 5 boroughs, but most of New York is that city. In the current state, I wouldn't live in New York City, even if I had free rent on one of those overpriced apartments. It's been going downhill and a lot of people have abandoned it for greener pastures. The once great subways are unsafe and crime is on the rise. Not to mention, regardless of your political affiliation, which remember, I'm an alien, so I have none in America, the politicians that are running the city and state into the ground with dumb policies that have even New Yorkers fuming. The state is the 47th most affordable, which also matches its rank in housing affordability. Its cost of living ranking is even worse at 48th. This shouldn't surprise you that its opportunities is ranked 49th, as both the cost of living and housing affordability fall under that broader category. You hate taxes? You will hate New York, where it's the second worst in the country, ranked 49th out of 50. It also sucks for economy at 45th. Physical stability is 29th. But if you live there right now, you might want to watch out for that one, as there is a lot of tax dollars that have fled to other tax-friendly states. And there's a lot of bad type of aliens. You know, the illegal ones that have been moving there and forcing the people's tax dollars to be used to support them. Meanwhile, JB would be sent back to space if I took any government handouts. Not that I want government handouts, but I do want subscribers to my channel though. Enough of the negativity. New York does have a lot of positives. They are 11th in crime and corrections, but sorry to be negative again, this is definitely going up next year, or they are underreporting crime, both possibilities. Their education and healthcare is ninth. Natural environment is second. Oh, and I almost forgot, their infrastructure is 28th. So again, if New York is your thing, gladly move there. But if you are an alien, the bad kind of course, most New Yorkers don't want you there, regardless of what their mayor or congresswoman tells you. I can't blame them though. America is the greatest country in the world if you ask me. Number 3, New Jersey. Music legend Bruce Springsteen was not only born in the USA, like his famous song, also the first vinyl record I ever had as a child, he was also born in New Jersey. I must admit, I don't know much about New Jersey, which at times sounds like a suburb of New York. New Jersey is the 48th most affordable state, which is another way to say the third most expensive. The housing affordability is also 48th, and the cost of living isn't much better at 47th. The state does some things good, some average, some bad, and some just flat out ugly. They are good with education being second, and crime and corrections is fifth, and healthcare is eighth, which are some of the most important categories to most people. They are close to average in economy, which is 24th, and natural environment 26th. Infrastructure is 35th. Now for the downright ugly. Opportunity is 43rd. Physical responsibility is 49th, or the second worst in the country. The bad news doesn't stop there. If you hate taxes, New Jersey is the worst state, ranked 50th. I don't think I will ever move to New Jersey, even if the real estate is as cheap as that devil's hat I bought as a kid. The taxes will eat you alive. Number 2, Hawaii. Now, many people vacation in Hawaii, and it has beautiful beaches. It's no secret that many of the natives are upset because people like The Rock, Oprah, or Zuckerberg have driven up the cost, making it unaffordable to the locals. Hawaii might be beautiful, but like New Jersey, it has some great, good, average, and downright ugly rankings. To start, it's 49th most affordable. Hint, that means not affordable at all and better than only the next sad state. But we'll get to that later. The cost of living is the worst in the US at 50th, and housing affordability is 49th. Ouch. The healthcare is as great as its beaches being first or best in the country. Natural environment, it's also first, and that's not surprising. I'm a little surprised its crime and corrections is 10th. I guess I watched too many Dog the Bounty Hunter episodes, as I thought it would score worse in that category. Education is 24th, which is pretty average. Infrastructure isn't bad at 37th. Now things get a little ugly. The tax burden is ranked 42nd, economy 48th, physical stability 46th, and opportunity is 45th. I once turned down a free trip to Hawaii from my childhood friend as an adult. He was going to pay for me and my other friend to come and visit him for 2 weeks. I made the right call as they spent the whole 2 weeks golfing and surfing, and I don't swim or golf. I would have preferred being eaten by a shark. Now last and certainly least in my book anyways, number 1, California. I'm not sure why anyone would live in California. In fact, this is the only state of all the states that I don't ever want to go to. However, that could change quickly, as my daughter is joining the U.S. Air Force and it's one of the places she could be posted to. I would go to hell for my kids, and to me, California is hell. It's 50th in affordability, aka the worst. It is flip-flop from Hawaii with the cost of living 49th and the housing affordability 50th. It's not surprising with those affordability issues that it's ranked 50th for opportunity for its residents. It's ranked 48th overall in tax burdens. Fiscal stability is 39th, but again, this is another state to watch this category. Their stupid policies, yes, I said it, is driving away large corporations, small businesses, the rich, and many people who pay a large amount of tax. They have major budget deficits, and if DC doesn't help them out, your boy Newsom is going to destroy this once great state. This is not a political statement. This is common sense. The natural environment is 30th, and somehow I thought it would be better. Infrastructure is 34th, economy is 29th, and crime and corrections is 23rd. But let's be honest, they have legalized many crimes like theft, so crime and safety should be much worse. Education is 20th, and I'm really surprised by that. I don't trust these average rankings of California. Now their best ranking, which I know is accurate, is healthcare is 6th. Remember my rich friend who lived in Hawaii and was going to pay for me to come and visit him? He lives in Hawaii for half the year. The other half of the year he lives in California. But he can afford it. I'm definitely turning down a free trip to California. Unless, of course, my daughter gets posted there. Then I'll go to hell. Honorable mentions to Alaska that was 11th and Virginia that was 12th most unaffordable states. So do you live in any of these states? Do you think it's worth the price? Let me know in the comments. Oh, and if you're curious about this top 10 states to live in 2024 that I kept referring to in this video, click this link here and watch that video.